I'd like to say good afternoon and a big welcome to the plaza. This is certainly a special occasion for all of us, and it's really a twofold occasion that we have put together. One of the things that we want to accomplish this afternoon is to say hello to our newest neighbor, the Piedmont Players, who will be working the Meroney Theater here very shortly. And Scott, you got that figured out? Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sound is my vocation.
All right. And the other thing that we are excited about is a presentation that we are going to make a little later to Scott Holmes. I'd like to call on Kevin Edinger at this time. Kevin is the president of Piedmont Players. Kevin, if you'll come forward, we'd like to hear just a little bit about this exciting project.
This will be short. I had worked several years for the Commissioner of Agriculture, who had a penchant for showing up at meetings like this and saying, "I bring you good news." And then he just walked away. There's really nothing else that I can say to make this better except thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts to the Hurley family, to the J.F. Hurley Foundation for making this possible, for getting this started. Thank you very much to Scott Holmes. We expected him to give a killer performance, but we could not have expected his graciousness and his ability to bring out the best in everybody that he touches with his lovely wife, Pamela. We certainly hope that they'll come back. The project itself, the future is now. This is a night and day difference in the arts community of Salisbury and Rowan County. There is a host of things that will be different, and they will be positively different. Folks, that's about all I'd say. I'd like to turn the floor over briefly to Reed Leonard for a few words on the project.
Thanks, Kevin. I'd love to get a chance to speak just off the top of my head. It's amazing that it all pulled together this particular week, because in a show like this, on a homecoming weekend for Catawba, Scott and I were in school together. We could spend the whole weekend looking back. Remember when we used to live here? Remember when we did this show? Remember when we did this? Instead, it's turned into looking back and reflecting, but constantly looking to the future. The events fell into place this particular week for all of this to happen. Just makes it that much special. Kevin couldn't be more right about Scott being gracious. I knew him as a student. I expected him to come in and do a good job and do a good show, but no one had the slightest idea that he would be as giving to the community as he's been. Scott and I are parts of Piedmont Players from years and years ago. We remember Bonnie Royster. We remember John Hartledge, all these people who have done these shows back through the years. And when you see the production of Evita on stage, there are an awful lot of people who are up there who aren't actually on stage, who have been a part of Piedmont Players through the years, who've kept it going. Opening night, Millard McDonald came to the performance, who was the first Piedmont Player director. So the whole idea of looking forward with the past, standing there looking, is kind of remarkable that it all came together this week. And a lot of it's due to Scott coming for us. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Reed. You remind me, as you mentioned Bonnie Royster, Bonnie is probably one of the few women that I really lived in fear of. Those of you who worked under Bonnie, and I see a lot of faces out here who have been Roysterized. She was something else.
Hello, everyone. I never dreamed
that anything could be as exciting as standing right here in this building, fully renovated and being utilized to its fullest potential. But I believe the news of the Meroney Theater done deal comes real close, if not more exciting. And we are just pleased to death that this news has come about, and we're just real excited for the Meroney Theater and the potential that it has for this community. I know that Piedmont Players is excited to finally get a permanent home and a place where they can practice and have their plays anytime they want to, for the length that they want to go. And it's going to be a whole new world opened up for them because they've never experienced that flexibility before. We are so excited to have this happen downtown. I'm a firm believer in a town is just as good as its central business district, and this is certainly going to add a tremendous asset to the central business district, and it's going to make the whole town of Salisbury look so much better. And what a double pleasure it is to have Scott Holmes here this week performing with the Piedmont Players in Evita. It's just an extra piece of excitement to the news that we already have. And Scott, I'm so glad that you were able to be here to share in this momentous occasion. And if you'll come forward right now, I'd like to present you with a gift from the city. And it's a key to the city.
Thank you very much.
I know that Scott is probably a little stage struck at this point. However, we have asked him to make a comment or two on what he thinks the Meroney Theater may do for the downtown area, speaking as a professional actor. So the floor is yours, Scott.
I must tell you, I feel like I woke up in Santa's workshop and all of a sudden I was wearing the beard and the red suit. I never expected this. I've always had a special affinity for this community. It's always welcomed me. The Piedmont Players was the beginning of everything that I'm standing here doing now. I want you to know that I willingly accept your outpouring of love for me, and I return it to you in kind. The Meroney Theater, these are my dress clothes, by the way, so I won't have to answer any questions. I walked through this theater with Reed and Greer when I was here. And to James Hurley, you know, thank you very much for that, for what you're doing for us. And the theater it's a very warm building. I love standing there, and Reed told me this story about this black fellow that used to go to the, do you remember telling me this story? This black guy, he's like 89 years old or something. He used to go to the movies there. And he used to always sit up in the balcony. And he remembered when the theater got integrated and he and his grandmother walked down to like the 7th row to see the movie. And the movie started and they sat there for about 10 minutes and decided, well, we always had the best seats all along. Anyway, I must tell you that this town is doing something very progressive, because in my town, you see, they're tearing our theaters down. And you guys are moving ahead with vision and foresight, and I would love to come here and perform anytime that I'm available and you're available. And for this, I mean, I don't even know what to tell you about this. I never, ever expected it. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thanks.
Scott, in case you don't realize it, this gang will take you up on your offer.
Right.
I would like to, in closing, ask Ed Norville to come forward, and he has a little something to share with this group while we have such an auspicious group assembled, Ed, to talk just a little bit about the Meroney project and how it's going to flow.
I thought y'all be interested in more specifics about the plans of the theater itself. As you can see from the drawings here, the centerpiece will be the theater itself downstairs on the first floor. We hope to have a 350 to 400 seat theater, but not many people know that there's some wonderful spaces on the second and third floor as well. The second floor has very nice offices we hope to have for the Piedmont Players and other arts groups. The third floor consists of 2 large spaces with the big rounded windows and high ceilings that are perfect for rehearsal spaces. The players are buying the building, so of course their use will come first, but we hope to have other times available for other arts groups as well, for dance groups, and rehearsals of, chamber concerts, dance. We hope to have meetings in the auditorium itself, maybe even film series. So there are lots of different uses that this facility can be put to. And I'd like to harken back a little bit. This really all began in 1989 when a group called the Meroney Theater, Inc. was formed. And Hank and several members of that board are here. Becky McKinley, George Klutz as well. And they hired the architects Newman and Jones from Winston-Salem, who were one of the best theater architects in the area. They did the Stevens Center in Winston-Salem. And they did a feasibility study, interviewed arts groups all over town, and found that there was a tremendous need for this facility. Then they also did plans based from that feasibility study that led to this project. And then as things developed, we saw that the primary user of this would be the Piedmont Players. And so that's why it developed that it was transferred to the Piedmont Players in the summer of this year. Also, not many people may know there's going to be an addition to the back of the building. We own not only the building, but a large area behind the building, so there'll be about a 3,200 square foot addition to the back that will be a back shop to make the building really usable for modern standards. So, if y'all have any questions.
Thanks, Ed. Well, that's just about it, folks. It has been an exciting time for all of us. We do thank you for joining us. There's plenty of punch and some of Lee's homemade goodies over here, so stick around and chat, make yourselves at home. Thanks for